Season 1 of Glory Hunter was successful. Starting off at Dortmund, we won the DFB Pokal against Bayern Munich on penalties. And it's only our first year of 20. So that's the first trophy ticked off. And for now, we stay with Borussia Dortmund, setting our sights on the Bundesliga next. First thing we do is promote Moukoko. Not that we were planning to move, but here are the jobs that popped up at the end of the season. I'm also toying around with this new tactic to get Yusuf and Moukoko involved more this season. Maybe with Adeyemi slipping out to the right hand side as the inside forward. Looking at weaknesses, it's probably centre back or right back in my opinion, more so on the right back situation. And my target at right back is Danish defender Christensen. He can kind of play in many positions and he's really well rounded. We managed to get an offer accepted for £25 million up front with 7.5 in instalments. Not bad. Wages were not bad either, and he's happy to be considered a squad player, which I'm happy with. And he signs to become our first income this summer. It's Bayern Munich in our first game of the season in the Super Cup, and time to trial the new tactic. Keeping Haller in the team despite him struggling for now, and bringing in new signing Christensen in at right back with Sule slotting next to Akanji at centre back. And I was right with those decisions as Sebastian Haller put in a glorious cross for Moukoko to score the only goal of the game. Speaking of Bayern Munich, by the way, they've sold Gravenberch already, as well as Pavard. They have brought in 3 players totaling in a £90 million, including former Dortmund player Gundogan from Manchester City. Fully rotated team in the first round of the Cup. We already won this, don't forget, but we still won 2-0. First league game of the season and Karim Adeyemi starts up top, providing us with 2 goals as well. Clinical. Sebastian Haller popped one in to make it 3-0 at half time, and in the second half a fantastic run by Bellingham led to him picking up a goal, and finally Giovanni Reina notched a 5th. 5-0. However, the worst part about this match was the injuries. Marco Reus is now out for a couple of months with his hip, Adeyemi misses a couple of weeks, and so does Thorgan Hazard. And Christensen got a red card too, meaning he's also suspended. And because of the World Cup, fixtures are coming thick and fast in just August alone, including a tie against Bayern Munich. And I actually think Marco Reus won't play until next year. PSG come in with a bid for Akanji for £24 million. And I'm actually going to accept it because he's at the last year of his contract. He's refusing to sign an extension. He then got injured for 3 to 4 weeks in a 3-2 loss to Hamburg. Thankfully, he's still off though. We have depth, but we probably still need to replace him. And my target is 19-year-old Zabarnyi from Dynamo Kiev. He's very talented and a good defender. We eventually negotiated a deal around £35 million. Bayern Munich match, and with the injuries in mind, I want it to be a bit more stable and changed back to the 4-3-1-2 from last season. It didn't really start well, however, when Upamecano scored from a set piece. Bayern then took full advantage of us having a weaker team, and Serge Gnabry scored a second before half time. It took until the 77th minute before a ball was turned in from us from an own goal, but in the 87th minute, Sebastian Haller smashed an equaliser emphatically. I'll take a draw here. And right after that, we got our man Zabarnyi joins the team. Champions League draw, and we get put into a group with PSG. A tough third team joins us in Atalanta, and eventually Trabzonspor completes the group. 2 losses and a draw. It isn't fantastic from our first 7 games, but with the amount of injuries we suffered, it could have been worse. Still, it sees us in the top 3, and Haller is running the Golden Boot race. Window closed, and I think we've done alright considering the money we were not given. Our next 5 league matches come around, and all of a sudden we are picking up wins everywhere. And one player's name kept popping up. The American Giovanni Reina. He just could not stop scoring goals in Reus's absence. Despite us going 1-0 down in our first Champions League match, we ended playing some fantastic football. After they then gifted us a second goal, Adeyemi also popped one in. And then a beautifully played goal, Jude Bellingham scored another. Jude would definitely be a player that I would be picking for my fantasy league. Speaking of which, do you guys want to join my fantasy league this season? So whilst we take a look at some Champions League goals, let me hit you with some information. Like last year, we are going to be using SPITCH. It's free to play, however you do have to be 18 or over, as you can actually enter paid competitions on the site. But you don't have to pay to actually win money. A 2-0 loss to PSG is not great, and a 0-0 draw away to Atalanta. It didn't start at all well in the home leg to PSG, but luckily we soon pulled ourselves back in it. Now, like real life management, SPITCH allows you to field a brand new 11 every single game week, not restricting you with a set amount of transfers. So if you wanted to choose Donyell Malen after he scores this equaliser against PSG here for the next Bundesliga game, there's just no stopping you. The point system on SPITCH is far better and much more in depth too. For instance, nobody actually scores in this highlight against Atalanta, but my players would still be picking up points because of the successful passing, the cross, and the shot on target, plus the defender for the other team would get points for blocking that shot. So there are 2 links at the top of the description. The first one is to actually sign up for SPITCH, and the second one underneath is how you join my community league. But again, you do have to be 18 years of age or over from the UK, Germany, or Austria. Make sure you have your identification ready so you can verify your account. So make sure you join, because there's almost 100 people in our community league already. SPITCH has just launched Season Mode 2, where if you play the entire season, your top 5 lineups count towards winning a huge prize, which again, you can enter for free if you wish. But if you do decide to put £5 in, there's a £50,000 prize pot. So again, top of the description to sign up, link underneath to join the community league, and thank you very much. Let's have some fun with some fantasy football. So we did only lose 1 game in the Champions League to PSG, but didn't exactly set the tournament on fire, finishing 2nd place in our group. Our league form has suffered too, a loss to Eintracht Frankfurt and a draw to Bayer Leverkusen. Karim Adeyemi is having a lot of fun though, scoring a 25th minute hat-trick against Holstein Kiel, the FM21 Youth to Goal team of course. We are out of the cup by the way, we played a rotated team and Union Berlin beat us. And now we have to wait for the World Cup before we can continue our season. I thought I mentioned it right now, I'm not going to be doing the World Cup or the Euros as part of this Glory Hunter because international football just doesn't appeal to me at all on FM. For those of you who do care though, the final of the World Cup was played between Argentina and Italy, and after 90 minutes it was 0-0 and eventually went to penalties where Italy missed 2 and Argentina are crowned world champions. I'm sure that wouldn't lead to any interesting debates. We are currently sat in 4th place in the league and have been drawn against Liverpool in the Champions League. And look at this too, Adeyemi picking up FIFA Under-21's Player of the Year and the European Golden Boy. Haller also getting African Player of the Year too, ahead of Mohamed Salah. While Lionel Messi picked up his 46th Ballon d'Or. First game back against Freiburg and we have our backup goalkeeper in goal. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, actually, in this game, as Giovanni Reina once again put on a show, scoring 2 and assisting 1 in a 4-1 victory. The next Bayern Munich match is upon us and it's 1st versus 2nd. This is thanks to a good run of form we've had, only dropping points to Mainz. Again, I think it's best if we switch the previous tactic against Bayern Munich, as it's better defensively, and hopefully we can catch them on an off day. And what a game it was. We were off to a flyer when Reina chipped Neuer 1 minute in. Then not long after, Adeyemi scored a 2nd. But it was never going to be easy and Thomas Müller scored. And Serge Gnabry equalised. And then Thomas Müller scored their 3rd. And finally, after some great play, Sebastian Haller scored an 86th minute equaliser. We come into the Champions League game against Liverpool on good form, but we are missing Adeyemi. We started strong when Haller scored in the 12th minute and a penalty in the 16th. But the 2nd best African player of the year got one back for Liverpool. And yet again, we gave up a 2-goal lead when Keita equalised in the 89th minute. We then took our first loss in the league since before the beginning of October, right after the Liverpool game against Cologne. We do pick up 2 more wins right after though, going into the 2nd leg. And we are just 3 points behind Bayern Munich with 11 games to go. We stick with a 4-3-1-2 against Liverpool and Sebastian Haller gives us the lead. New Liverpool signing Darwin Núñez equalises though and takes this to extra time. This is where our legs are tired and Liverpool score with 2 more new signings. First Noni Madueke and then Gabi goal to eliminate us from the competition. Just the Bundesliga to focus on then. After Liverpool, we next hosted Leipzig, where Homo scored the only goal of the game. Next off, we travelled to Hoffenheim, where Adeyemi gave us the lead. Suarez then equalised in the 2nd half, but our American dream, Giovanni Reina, came through once again with the winner. And Bayern Munich, to my shock, have lost 3 matches in the league recently, which somehow sees us go top on goal difference, tied with both Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen. But we do have our bogey team Eintracht Frankfurt up next. Despite them playing a really defensive 4-5-1, they actually took the lead through Emil Forsberg. Didn't hold us off long though, as Reina equalised. And Moukoko then gave us the lead going into half-time. 2nd half and Frankfurt put it back 2-2. But Karim Adeyemi stepped up and not only scored a 3rd, but also a 4th. Good win. We followed that with 2 more wins to Wolfsburg and Holstein Kiel. But Bayern Munich was still level on points with us with 2 games to go, and Leverkusen only dropped 2 points and could still pinch it. And that's who we play next at home. Now with a couple of injuries and our left back Guerrero being suspended, our team is looking a little bit ropey. But once we kicked off, Sebastian Haller's header found 18-year-old Youssoufa Moukoko to give us an early lead. And then Jude Bellingham slotted in a wonderful pass for Haller to open his body up and make it 2-0. In a game we dominated in statistics with 24 shots to Leverkusen's 5, eliminating their chance of their first ever Bundesliga. Bayern still wouldn't drop off though, and they beat Cologne with their final game at home to 7th place Hertha Berlin, whereas we actually take a trip to Berlin ourselves against Union. Guerrero comes straight back in at left back with a straight swap for Emre Can, and we are underway. It took all but 18 minutes before Marco Reus found Haller with a cross to give us the early lead. Even better still that Hertha scored. Bayern did come back with a goal, but they needed to score another and for Union Berlin to equalise. But time ran out and the full-time whistle was blown, and Borussia Dortmund are crowned champions. 2 seasons in, 2 trophies. And so our time at Borussia Dortmund was a lot shorter than I expected it to be. However, there are no appealing jobs available right now, and even the insecure roles aren't really title contenders. So we may have to leave our role at Dortmund and hope that one of these managers at bigger clubs take the role that we have just left. But what do you think we should do? Let me know down in the comment section, of course, and if you want to join my fantasy league, SPITCH, at the top of the description, the first link to sign up, and the second is how to join the community league. Thank you very much. If the next episode is here, I'll pop it up on the screen for you. See you soon.